what's up and why, bringing you the bright side of life one fun moment at a time. Brought to you by the New Thought Media Network. Please put your hands together for your hosts, Rev Casey Taylor and Miss B Lovely.
Clap for us, clap for us. Hello. My name is Reverend Casey Taylor. I use they, them pronouns.
I am B Lovely. I use she, her pronouns. Thank you for joining us for another amazing episode of What's Up and Why. I'm really excited for this episode. I don't know if you guys can see it in my face, but I actually came prepared, yo.
Yes. Be Lovely prayed us in. We generally try to do that. And right after the 12 p.m. my time, marker mark, Be Lovely was like, you want me to pray us in? I can make it real quick. And I'm grateful that you did it. I'm grateful that you had the show produced in the box, ready to go. Got our banners, got our pics. Grateful for this. How you doing? What has got you hyped and live and ready for this episode, Be Lovely? Let me know. Fill me in.
You know, the camaraderie that we have, the amazing conversation that we had off camera before the show started. And I realized I have a lot of things to be happy for. You know, I feel very productive today, I was about to say on a Wednesday. It is Thursday. I got all my shit done early. I was prepared. I'm coming off of a great, amazing accomplishment professionally. Juneteenth weekend. How ironic is that? But then again, it probably isn't ironic. I won 2 new Emmy Awards.
Yes.
So I'm so happy. Producer extraordinaire, Black Girl Magic, all the things. So I'm just very, very grateful and feeling refreshed and recharged after our family vacation together.
Mm-hmm. It's wild. I'm realizing as we did our show open, we did not take any pics together. We usually make some effort to take at least a couple, having our family be our personal photographers, but we were just chilling, kicking it this weekend.
And we needed it. It was a very much needed trip where we could relax, talk, laugh, have fun, and just unplug from everything that's happening in the world and just be present with family. And anybody who's watching, I would really, really encourage, any family members that you are close with or in contact with, try to, arrange whether it's, if you can't do a weekend trip, even if it's an afternoon or evening meetup with your family members, that time connecting with your family is very, very important and very rewarding. It's great to make amazing memories with your loved ones.
Mm-hmm. On our family trip, I remember we had a conversation about how our cousins are our best friends. We traveled together pretty consistently. We, in addition to last year's family trip, which was in the same spot this family trip was, we had our Key West cousins trip where the 4 of us went to Key West and lifted up. So I love that we have these big family trips. We live in different areas in the country, but we do the best that we can to stay engaged and connected. And you and I have this show. So we got a really close-knit family.
We do. And I'm very, very grateful for that because growing up, I always wanted that. So having it, I treasure it and value it. And that's why I always say my cousins are my best friends. Okay.
We are.
Yes. So, we just talked about, what's up with us. Let's get into the what's up with what's happening in the world. So, a couple of things that we're going to dive into today. First things first, actor Danny Glover, he just revealed yesterday exclusively on the Today Show that he has Alzheimer's disease. He said his speech is beginning to slow down as well as his movements and his memories, but he wanted to reassure people that he's doing okay. He said, I'm going to read a quote from his interview on the Today Show with Lester Holt, who they brought out of retirement to do this. He said, I can live with it in a sense. And, he says he's coping with it, but realistically, he's sure that as it advances, things are going to be a lot different and changing. He's 79 years old. And him and his family opened up the reason why they wanted to share with the world, about the disease. And they said, we all are going to get old, and it happens. And he thinks that it's important to tell his story and, have ownership of his life, because it's an important time right now for him to be able to, speak about himself, his accomplishments in his life and everything before this disease progresses. So, we're sending love and healing energy to Danny Glover and his family, famous actor known from Lethal Weapon and many more, movie franchises.
I love that the our intention of this show is to lean into the brighter side of life one fun moment at a time, and that Danny is representing that. That it isn't I have this disease and oh it's so terrible. It was he recognized what was his to do is to speak up, to note that we all age, and
Mhm.
to not gloss over it, pretend, or to have this concept of shame and hiding in the dark and dying alone out of public eye, but to really make this decision to bring Lester Holt up out of retirement, to be like, look, this is an important conversation that we need to have, that the leaders within our culture need to be facilitating with us. And I'm grateful that Lester Holt and Danny Glover recognize that this was theirs to do and understands the power and the impact of them standing in this being the reality of what it means to just be human.
Yeah, exactly. And that is something to think about. Like, as we age and grow older, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen getting older, basically.
Hmm.
There's gonna be
Hmm.
changes that's happening. So I'm loving in the fact that, he is opening up, being vulnerable, because it could be helping somebody else who's either, dealing with it or has a family member. So, they won't feel as alone or be like, what should I do? Like it takes away, like the fear, the sadness, and all the, the negative emotions with him, opening up and, being so open and forthright about this and trying to reassure people like, hey, aging is a part of life and sometimes this is what comes with it. But I'm going to take ownership of it. I'm not going to be a victim. I'm going to
Hmm.
be owning my story and, talking to people about the changes that I'm going through to help anybody else.
And being grateful for the time in which his mental faculties are still in place, of knowing this is what's coming on the line. And so this is what I'm doing to celebrate and have gratitude for what I have and for who I am in this moment.
So thank you, Danny Glover, for sharing your story. You and your family were sending you love and healing energy. Something else that came out in the news this week, kind of piggybacking, because, Lethal Weapon was based in LA. This LA based show just got a huge push from Netflix. We're talking about Courtney Kemp's cat and mouse game of Nemesis. It has been renewed for a second season. So I don't know. Have you heard anything or seen anything about Nemesis?
I have heard, I have seen. I don't have Netflix, so when I'm in a place with Netflix, I've been like catching up on other shows. Like I just finished season 2 of Beef. That's what
Mhm.
I'm doing when I'm in a room where I have a remote and Netflix is on the TV. But I haven't watched an episode of Netflix, and I've heard a lot of mixed reviews. But just what's true about mixed reviews is that if people are watching, people are watching, and numbers got to be there for Netflix to renew for season 2, especially as early as it is. So, like, obviously, despite what people are saying, the show is getting watched. I'm glad that we're talking about it, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn it on eventually whenever.
And Courtney Kemp is echoing those sentiments. She says it's because of the fans that Netflix is bringing the show back for a season 2. I watched Nemesis. I loved it. I love the lead. I can't pronounce his first name, but the dude who played Coltrane. So it's basically a cop chasing a robber. He's like, this super what is it? This super he's really, really good at what he does. And he like arranges this whole gang and like, they're robbing all these places around LA and this good cop is trying to catch him, but the good cop is becoming bad while trying to catch him and stuff. I thought it was great all around. I love the story. It was very original. I love the writing. I love the actors. And it was a very fun show to watch, very easy to watch too. But Courtney was basically saying, it's because of the fans that they're bringing it back. Netflix told her when she wrote season 1 to make sure that the ending ends with the period. And she said in an interview with the Hollywood Reporter, she said, yeah, when they told me that, I knew in my head I wasn't going to do that because I want my show to come back. And, I'm so supportive of Black female writers and showrunners having their content to continue to go through, because Netflix is so famous for ending Black-led shows after one season, like The Burrows, which got a lot of great reviews, but Netflix decided not to go through with the season 2. So I'm just really happy that Nemesis was not on the chopping block, because Courtney left us on a real good cliffhanger, and it's a lot to come for season 2.
All right, good for her. Good for her for having heard Netflix's note and was like, nah. Props to Courtney.
Yeah, and let that be a lesson to us. When somebody tells you to do something, sometimes it's okay to listen to your gut and be like, nah, I'm gonna do this way.
I think what we say on this show, that it's always okay to listen to your gut. Maybe things won't turn out the way that you think they should or that other people think they should, but having a habit of trusting your gut will always serve you. That's what I believe. That's what I believe.
Look, and speaking of trusting your gut, the GOAT of the NBA is trusting his gut and announced that he is leaving the Lakers. So LeBron James says that he is walking away from the Lakers. No, he is not retiring. Instead, he's becoming an unrestricted free agent. He's only 41 years old. He's the NBA's most all-time points leader, a 22 all-time star, and 4-time MVP, with a lot of accolades. I thought that he was going to retire with the LA Lakers, since he had, went from my Ohio, Cleveland to Miami to Cleveland and then LA, got his son into the league at LA. And I thought, oh, you're going to retire, with the same team that you're playing with your son. But I think he just may be going to Cleveland. It's not said where he is going, but I'm thinking he may be going back to his hometown to retire in Akron, Ohio.
It makes sense. I mean, this man obviously has love for Cleveland. Like nobody else has love for this city the way that LeBron got love for Cleveland. I ain't never been to Cleveland, but props to them for loving this man in a way that he's like, you stayed in my heart no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of sunshine and championships that he's getting in other places. This man cannot stop thinking of a Cleveland stays on his heart and mind. And like, good on Cleveland, good on them. Whatever it is they bring in, whatever it is they serving, that makes LeBron James feel right at home. That no other city can compete.
I feel like there's nothing like being in your hometown. Like, I guess it depends on a person's experiences with their hometown and stuff.
For sure. It's not like Chicago can kick all the rocks. I'm grateful to be from there. I'm grateful for those lessons learned. But you asked me about Chicago versus anywhere else. Here I am in Oklahoma City, feeling like Oklahoma City is a better place for me than Chicago. And so I don't know. And like Cleveland, if Chicago couldn't bring it, I'm confident if I grew up in Cleveland, it definitely wouldn't have brought it for me. I'm not a fan of winter. That's number one. So apparently LeBron in winter must be cool because or whatever. He lives a life where he can spend it on the beach as much as he wants or however that is. I don't know. But that's one piece of it. I don't know. Like, and it's just I just being in the Midwest, like Oklahoma City is kind of as Midwest as I like vibe wise. And it's actually more like Southern hospitality here. Like there's no Southern hospitality in the Midwest. There's something else, but not Southern hospitality. So I don't know, like maybe it's his hometown, but I think it's more than that. I think it's more than this is where you're from. So Cleveland's got to be doing something for him, bringing him aligned in his heart in some kind of way.
Well, it must be doing something for him, but we gonna find out, in the coming maybe weeks about where his new home is gonna be, because at 44 years old, there's nothing left to do in the league but retire. So we gonna see where he
right now. Yeah, is he 41 or 44?
Wait, I think. Oh, you're right. I'm over here aging this man. He's 41. Why?
Okay, all right.
I don't know where I got 44.
You said 41 first time. So I was, and still like 41, 44, these are really old numbers for running up and down basketball courts. So, like, I mean, we know retirement is inevitable. Of course, it has to be. We're talking about aging. I don't. This is the theme: kings, queens, and dragon things. Aging seeming to come right along with it. So I mean, that's what comes along with it, and his decision to kind of spend his final years wherever he wants to be. I'm all about the fact that he's choosing freedom. Freedom's got to be a beautiful thing. Freedom's always
freedom, freedom, freedom. Let it ring as we're going into America 250 weekend. And last but not least, we were talking about LeBron maybe retiring. Somebody who came out of retirement, even though she said she wasn't retiring, Miss Serena Williams. Okay, she returned to Wimbledon this week. She was supposed to be playing in doubles with her sister Venus Williams, so they were supposed to be returning double trouble on the court today, but Serena suffered a knee injury while playing on Tuesday in the singles match. So their match for today is postponed. We don't know if they're going to play tomorrow because the list isn't supposed to be released until later today. But 23 Grand Slam champion, a few years ago, she had announced that she was stepping away from tennis. She came back. She just played in a tournament in Germany, and it was another tournament that she had just played in overseas recently too. But there was a lot of people looking forward to seeing her and Venus take the court again at Wimbledon. So we're going to keep you guys updated on when that happens, but sending healing energy to Serena so that her knee will be all right, so she can hit the court with her sister and we can see that double trouble again on the court. So yeah, that is going to wrap up our What's Up. And today for Do Better Blues, we're going to keep it in the pop culture realm. House of the Dragon. I was going to ask, do you watch House of the Dragon? But you're not using HBO, are you?
No, not only do I have HBO, I have nothing right now. We're gonna talk about my money shit a little bit later in the show. That's why I don't got nothing right now. But I love how I did not like Game of Thrones. I watched the entire series of Game of Thrones and hated every second of it. So House of the Dragon, I started the first episode and I care even less about a series that takes place thousands of years before a series I didn't vibe with to begin with. So I just checked out. If I even have, I'm probably not going to watch it.
You sit back for this one, okay. Then. First of all, Game of Thrones is my shit. House of the Dragon is even more of my shit because I love the Targaryen family. I did not love episode 2 from this past week. There's a lot of things that's happening. So, spoiler alert, if you have not seen episode 2 of House of the Dragon, season 3, do not go forward, okay? We are picking up from the events of last season. So, King Aegon, his brother, is jealous of him. He tried to burn him with the dragon. So the dude's basically on life support. And what is this? Like the AD era? So, they don't even have medical treatment. So he's going through it really, really hard. He's on the run. He gets captured by the people who are on the opposing team who wants to, take him off the throne. He's he's undisguised because he's on the run. And they say, hey, if you aren't King Aegon, then you need to bend the knee and pledge your fealty to Queen Rhaenyra. Dude doesn't want to do it. He ends up getting his identity found out. That's one thing that pissed me off. His brother Aemon he took over since Aegon left the throne, running wild, killing people, being a little deviant. And then all of a sudden in this episode, we find out that he has some serious mommy issues, aka this man is in love with his mother and kissed his mother on the mouth like she was his woman. And I was like, you know what?
Like this is why I don't. That right there is exactly why. And you had the incest in Game of Thrones was like the central. I was like, this is not for me.
The incest is wild. I will say that I'm not down with the incest, and clearly Aemon's mother was not down with the incest either because she was looking at him like, boy, is you crazy? But she know her son is crazy. So she couldn't do anything or she would have ended up getting murdered too. That's another thing. The third thing, Alicent and Queen Helena. Alicent made a pact with Rhaenyra. She was like, look, you can have my sons, okay? You want the throne? Take it. You can have the king. You can have his crazy brother. Let me and my daughter leave. And we gonna be okay. How are you going to try to leave undercover with all of your rich garments and robes and stuff on, trying to run through the common area, like where the common folks are? They easily got spotted out in the crowd. And I'm just thinking, if you're really trying to escape and hide, why are you wearing all of your fine jewelry? Why are you wearing your expensive garments and just putting a robe over your head like these poor folks ain't going to be like, you know what? You ain't one of us. That may be royalty. Let me try to get, this bounty money so that I can be rich. That's another thing that pissed me off. And the last thing, Rhaenyra, your birthright was stolen from you from your brothers, okay? Your brothers are the reason why two of your young sons have been murdered in this war. And when it comes time for you to come storm the castle and take your throne, you're hesitant. You don't want to walk up to the throne. You don't want to kill the man that started the whole issue with you not getting your birthright. She was hesitant with murdering Allison's father. His name is Otto Hightower. He's the one who basically started the movement to get her rightful birthright taken away from her and given to his grandson so that him and his family can become, at the hierarchy and stuff. She's finally at this moment where it's like, all right, got my brothers out the way, got Allison out the way. The throne is right here. She don't want to take the throne until she gets everybody's head on a spike. Girl, go sit on that throne and rule. Kill the people that took your throne away from you. Even though we don't condone violence on this show, but I condone it in House of the Dragon. I condone it in House of the Dragon, but not on this show. It's just, girl, you're not mad enough for me. If my two young children were brutally murdered because of something that was stolen from me, that was rightfully mine, I'm burning everything to the ground. I would have no problem with cutting that man's head off. But she is hesitant. She's still grieving for her two young boys. I get it. Turn that grief into anger and rage, girl, and let that fuel you, okay? I'm going to need Aemon to stop kissing on his mama like that's his woman. I'm going to need Allison and Helena to get some better sense, because when you're trying to escape, you don't need to be bringing all your jewels and your fine garments with you, okay? I need episode 3 to be better because episode 2 was very disappointing, and I need House of the Dragon to do better.
I mean, I'm right there with you, which is why I'm not the biggest fan of Game of Thrones to begin with, because I mean there was so much of it. Like I said, the incense I find the most disturbing. That's just me. It's not how I find watching ancestral stories. Is not where I get my entertainment from. But props to you for vibing with it. Props to Wayne Baldwin, who's supporting us is Stronger Together. Talk about help others, Calgarian present. You got another Game of Thrones fan right there with you. So I'm glad that you and Wayne get to bond over this. And now it's time for us to give some reverence. I'm clearly not giving reverence to the House of Dragon. But as we've been talking a bit about our family trip this weekend, I'm gonna give reverence to our family. The only reason I took this selfie, this wasn't like a condoned selfie. We were in the kitchen, chilling, playing a game. Obviously, there's some drinks on the table. And I just happened to open up Facebook while I was sitting on that little couch on the side there. And somebody was like, "What are you doing right now? Stop and take a picture of what you're doing." And I'm like, "Yeah, let me do that." So I got up and I was like, "Everybody come get in this selfie." Some people were paying attention. My blind brother in the back, Kenny, was not paying attention.
That's you calling him out.
I mean. So, but I mean, that's just what it was. I just like hopped up and took this selfie with whoever was in the kitchen at the time that I came across that Facebook post. So, that having, as we've returned, as you and I are back doing the show, I love that we didn't even talk about the show while we were there. Like we were literally just kicking it, chilling. I'm reminded of what a gift it is that our family is so close. And in the ways in which we hurt each other, in the ways that we support each other, I think we all do an exceptional job at recognizing the ways in which we trigger one another and taking care of ourselves, bringing that stuff into therapy, having conversations with each other outside of like causing drama. And so for us to like come together in the same house, be under the same roof, and just like get in where we fit in, cook together, kick it together, set some goals, don't meet those goals. Like it is the hard getting our family together to do something like this. S'mores was like the biggest thing. My mom was like, I got the sticks and I'm a vegan, so I needed to get the vegan marshmallows. So when we were rolling down the street and I was like, oh, there's a Sprouts, I was like, stop right here. Remember, Be Lovely, we're in the car.
Yes.
Like, stop right here. And I just jumped off the car and I was like, come get me later. And so then like got the vegan marshmallows from the Sprouts that we were rolling past, and y'all came back and got me. So that just like the ways in which that we live in flow, that we get our own individual needs met while under a roof together and operate in peace and harmony is so unheard of for extended families who live like across the country to come together once a year and all be under the same roof. That is not a thing all families can do. So I just want to give my love and my reverence to my family for the ways in which that we contribute and support one another and putting these events together every year.
Shout out to our family. I love our family. As our auntie loves to say, I just love this family.
Yes, she does.
Yes. So let's talk about making peace with your inner shit talker.
Talk about making peace with our inner shit talker. So I want to dive into practice, the day 55 of this practice, which is actually day 1 of a section that's called money shit. And I want to start. I'm going to put the question up in the in our chat here. And Be Lovely, how would you describe your relationship with money?
I used to have a fearful relationship with money because I came from a scarcity mindset, but I believe that I'm doing better with it. Like I realize I'm the one that's in control, okay? And when I'm in control, I decide how this relationship is going to go. So I'm on a healing journey with money.
All right. I've definitely had my fair share of challenges with scarcity thinking. Right now, as I've shared that I don't have a lot of, I'm not paying for any of the streaming services right now. Me and Tubi, the Care Bears, watching Care Bears and Ninja Turtles on Tubi for free. Has been what I've been on. But for me, like in regards of like the financial challenges that I've been facing recently, I've been recognizing how each challenge is designed for something. It's designed to have a different relationship to my body, or a different relationship to what food, the way that I cook and prepare, my meal prepare, things like that. And so as I've been facing money challenges, what happens for me of operating from the overflow is that money comes to me and I know it. So I've got a bill that's due on this day and I know I don't have enough money, but like God's going to do it. And that's what happens. Like the money just comes to me. I operate from a place of trust and it comes to me. And right now I am recognizing that I'm getting an invitation. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be, I got a bill right here. I don't know how I was going to pay for it. I'm not trying to have spirit fill in the gaps for me every month. I want to live in the overflow. I want to spend the money on the family trips. I want to buy everybody breakfast. Like I want to be able to do those things. And so I am launching this program called Money Shit that is taken from that 7-day, the 4-day program and making peace with your inner shit talker. I've expanded it to 7 days. And so at unitedlife.org, you can join me. It's only $7. 7 days, 7 minutes worth of practice each day. And on the final day, we'll all connect on Zoom and it'll be recorded. So if you can't make it live, you'll get an opportunity to do that. And Be Lovely, as you are in your healing practice with money, this might be really good and supportive for you. So consider going to unitedlife.org and registering and joining us and engaging and doing this money shit practice together.
Oh yeah, when you had mentioned all of that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to participate in this.
Beautiful. Well, we are right at 12:30. You got any gems before I pray us out?
Don't be going around kissing your mama on the lips like that's your woman or your dad, okay? That's my gem.
I hope every viewer in here already knows that. And I'm a pray us out on that note. I invite us to take a moment to settle into our bodies and our breath and recognize that everything, every challenge, every moment of joy, every experience is designed for our highest and best. And I'm grateful to trust and know that everybody that needed to experience this episode is and has been may watch it later, knowing and trusting that as we lean into the brighter side of life, one fun moment at a time, that we are sharing our light throughout the planet. I'm grateful for who we are, how we show up, and the shift taking place because of this show and our participation in it. And in gratitude, I invite us to close this prayer however you're most comfortable. I choose to close by saying, and so it is.
Amen. Thank you for praying us out. And thank you to the viewers for joining us for another episode of What's Up and Why. Be sure to follow us on all of our socials and join us again next week for another episode. And remember, Amen is nasty. All right.
Yes. Have the best week ever.
Bye.